Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Kino with STEM with Kino.com. And this is the Aviation Selection Test Battery Weekly. Give me a moment as I get my Facebook Live up. And today we are going to be addressing questions related to the Aviation Selection Test Battery. Now, the OAR is a section of the Aviation Selection Test Battery. If you are going for like a surface warfare officer intel or anything, non-aviation related, you will be taking the officer aptitude rating portion of the Aviation Selection Test Battery. If you are looking to jump into a flight option, naval flight officer or pilot, then you will be taking full Aviation Selection Test Battery. Okay. And we are up and running right now on Facebook, so we're up on YouTube and we are up on Facebook, and I am going to address some things. I'm talking to my computer real quick. Facebook. All right, so we can get the post page up and running. And as you guys check in, just let me know which portion, whether you're doing the OAR, if you're doing the aviation selection or the full aviation selection test battery. If you've taken the test before, I'd like you to put in the comment box either YouTube or Facebook, if you've taken it before, some of the challenges you had and what areas of the test. I've been preparing people for this test for over 10 years, all the way back when it was like on paper, and I'm aware of a lot of the challenges that a lot of people that I've come into contact have, which is mostly math and the mechanical comprehension. As far as the reading comprehension, like if you're like if you need to work on your vocabulary, I think vocabulary is something that it takes years to kind of, adjust and improve on. And if you guys have young teenagers, teenage siblings or cousins or whatever, I recommend the Reader's Digest book, and I'm going to post that up too. The Reader's Digest is a great way to expand your vocabulary and reading comprehension. All right, so let's go to the emails. All right, and if you can't post, I'm actually going to put my email in the chat so you guys can see it, and you guys can send me a little feedback there. So you guys can send me questions. And like next week, we do this every week. So like the following next week, next Friday at 5 p.m., if you post questions in the morning, if you can't actually make the live stream, then what you can do is send questions to this email that I'm posting, and I'll cover the question. Okay, so what do I have here? All right, there we go. All right, I wanted to get it centered on there. Okay, so today I would like to talk about decimal conversion. So What I have here is a memory aid, like PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. What I have here is another memory aid, and this is for what I call decimal conversion. Let's say, for instance, and I always call it sucker punching when I think the test is trying to trick you. Let's look at, or let's explore the formula for kinetic energy. The formula for kinetic energy is 1/2 mass times velocity squared, where mass is in kilograms and velocity is in meters per second. Okay, so I ran into a little situation today where I was working with someone, and let's just say that we had an object that had a mass of 40 grams. All right, and let's say its speed was, let's say, 2 meters per second. So in this formula for kinetic energy, and let me just K E and an equal sign, equals 1/2 mass times velocity squared. In this particular situation, we should be using kilograms, okay? But in the question, they gave you grams. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. All right, kilo, H represents hecto, deca, deci, centi, and milli. And B represents base. Your units are going to either be in meters, liters, or grams. So for our purposes, what we need to do is we need to convert grams to kilograms, because if we put in 40 grams in this formula, we're going to come up with the wrong answer. All right, so we don't want to come up with the wrong answer. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Kilo, hecto, deca, base, deci, centi, and milli. So we can take grams and we can make them kilograms, or we take our grams, we can make them milligrams. Now, what each one of these rows indicate is the number of spaces or places that the decimal will be floating. All right, so let's say we wanted to convert 40 grams to milligrams. Well, we're in the base units, grams, and the decimal point would need to float 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right. So if we come over at 1, 400, 2, 4,000, 3, 40,000, 40 grams is equal to 40,000 milligrams. Now, since we're in grams and we need to go to kilograms, the decimal is behind the zero, and the decimal will need to float 1, 2, 3 spaces, 0.04 kilograms. Okay, so this is an awesome tool that I use, that I learned a long time ago. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk, because you want to make sure that you're using the right units when you're doing decimal conversions. And sometimes the test may not give you your question in grams. In kilograms. And so you may need to convert. Okay, so let's just do a little survey, and you guys, and we'll just do 3. So let's say I have 2.35 grams, and we're going to convert this to milligrams. Let's say we have 1.44 grams, and we want to convert to kilograms. And then we'll have 2,000 kilograms, and we're going to convert that to milligrams, so you guys can see how this works. Okay, so I want you guys to look at this, all right, and I want to see your answer. So we're going from 2.35 grams, and we're going to milligrams. So we're in the base units, and the decimal needs to float 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right. So 1, 2, 3. I want somebody, anybody, doesn't matter who, and don't worry about making a mistake. This is where we make our mistakes. We don't want to make our mistakes on the test. You make all the mistakes you want here. I will apply the correction. All right, but somebody type in what the conversion would be if we go from 2.35 grams to milligrams, and then immediately you can go from 1.44 grams, we want to go to kilograms, and then 2,000 kilograms, and we want to go to milligrams. All right, I'll wait for your responses. way, I will refresh my email, and I see a couple of responses there, which is good. Appreciate it. And who's in the check-in? Let me know who's here. Let me know where you're from. Let me know whether you're preparing for the OAR or the full ASTB. Okay. All right. Okay, the first one came in. If we're in grams and we're going to milligrams, the decimal point move 1, 2, 3 spaces. So 2,350 is the. No, I understood what you meant. It's okay, and I'm glad you corrected yourself. All right, it's cool. And thanks for checking in, Quanisha. We're going from grams to kilograms, so the decimal will float 1, 2, 3 spaces to the left. So need a little bit more zeros. If we come over 1, 2, 3, then it's 0.00144 kilograms. And thanks for the check-in specialist, Slam. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Please forgive me if I'm not. Because I have I will almost call it a weird name, but my name is not like the normal name Kino. I mean, it's like not too many people walking around with Kino, so I always make an extra effort to pronounce, people's names right. 0.00144 grams. Will that actually be kilograms? Make sure you're using the proper units, because that's another thing that the test will do. You'll have the right numbers, but they'll have milligrams, kilograms, grams, and which one are you going to choose? So this converts to kilograms. So I'm not beating you up. I'm just saying, And then we got 2 million milligrams for the third. Very good. Very good. Okay. So remember, for decimal conversion, King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. When we're moving from grams to kilograms to decagrams, deci, centi, milligrams. Okay, these are just prefixes. All right, and they just give you an indication of where your decimal is going to be placed. Okay. You know what? You know what I'm going to do as far as like the aviation side of things? Every week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting in an enabling objective once a week, when we come into the aviation, so you guys can get an idea. Enabling objectives it's kind of like a checklist of what the student is going to be required to know when they go to flight school, to primary. It's something that they will need to know. That's not just flight school, but aviation pre-flight indoctrination for all you guys that want to be aviators and naval flight officers and stuff. I think you group them in the same, because the navigator is still in the aircraft flying as well too. So why don't we do that? This will come from the aerodynamics section. Actually, there's so many of them. I think I'll do 3 at a time. Now, let me see if I can. You will be required to be really, really weird, well, not only in the test, but also in the API, of certain physics concepts. Because we have bodies moving through the air and, with forces acting on these bodies. And we basically want to be aware, trying to find a good one, a decent one. Okay. Let's talk about ground speed. I think that's a good one. So I'm copying this and I am going to put it on the YouTube chat. All right. And it may come out a little crazy, but you guys will get the point. Okay. This is for our future naval aviators that are going to API. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. All right. So the question is up, and I may as well put it on the post as well. So this way, everybody gets it. All right. We'll do like 2 or 3 of these every week, and then we'll go into questions, okay? Because this is the aviation selection test battery prep, and if it preps you for the test as well as API, then I think that's a win-win. All right. So let me read the question aloud. Okay. So define ground speed in a classroom in accordance with naval aviation fundamentals, and we have the student guide. When you go to API, you'll be given a student guide, and if this will tell you what you guys need to be prepared for. So let's talk about ground speed. Our airplane is flying through the air, okay, and we could have an indicated airspeed. And okay, that's another topic: indicated airspeed. When we are buzzing around through the sky, we're going to have a gauge called an airspeed indicator, or somebody call it an ASI. And this needle will be pointing somewhere, and it will tell us our airspeed. That's the speed that you're moving through the air. So let's just say, and don't laugh at my artwork, guys, our airplane is flying in this direction. And on the airspeed indicator, it says we're moving at 100 knots. All right. We're speaking in nautical terms when we talk about airplanes. We say 100 knots because we operate in nautical miles, nautical or boat miles, because boats operate in knots, airplanes operate in knots. What you drive are called statute miles per hour, statute miles. And there's a difference, and this has come up on the test. A nautical mile is 6,076 feet, and the statute mile is 5,280 feet. Okay, so there's a difference between nautical and statute miles. A nautical mile is about 15% more than a mile per hour. So if we were flying at 100 knots, that would be equal to 115 miles per hour, 15% greater. So 200 knots, you'd be flying at 230. All right. So let's get back to ground speed. Okay, so our airspeed that we're flying through the air is 100 knots. Now, let's get back to ground speed. Almost lost my train of thought there. So now, let's say we have a 20 knot headwind in our face. Even though our airspeed indicator says that we are flying at 100 knots through the air, our actual ground speed would be 80 knots. So if something was 800 miles away, nautical miles away, it would take us 10 hours to get there. All right. So the ground speed is the actual speed that you're traveling over the ground. You could have 100 knots airspeed on your reading on your airspeed indicator. If you have a 20 knot headwind, you're actually moving 80 knots over the ground. Okay, and that's what's really important. Not so much your airspeed when you're talking about estimated time of arrival. If something was 800 miles away, my estimated time of arrival, if after departing point A, going to point B, would be 10 hours. Okay. And everybody, if you guys understood that, please type in one. Even if you're not an aviation candidate or applicant, you're still going to be required to know distance, rate, and time problems. So, you know, while it is kind of guided or directed towards the aviation community, you could get this on the math section or even on the mechanical comprehension section because, good, thank you, Quenisha. All right. So, ground speed. We'll do one more from the enabling objectives. Give me a moment. I got like cameras and stuff away, so that's why I'm kind of looking around so I get the best view on the board. Alrighty. Okay, I like this one. Center of gravity. Somebody's hit me up. All right, copy. Then we'll get into some of the emails. But yeah, this every week what I'm going to be doing is just hitting like at least one or two topics in aviation, and then going into the questions. All right. Okay. All right. Boom. There is YouTube, Facebook, and here is the post. Okay. Okay, the next question is as follows. Define the center of gravity in a classroom in accordance with the Naval Aviation Fundamentals and the student guide. Okay. The center of gravity. Let's look at our airplane. The center of gravity is basically where all the weight is going to be concentrated. And let's say we have like an airline. Right? And there's our airplane. Okay. The center of gravity is normally represented by a symbol that looks like this. All right. And when we put so many passengers forward and so many passengers on the rear, and then we put fuel in the plane, and we put cargo in the belly, all right, this center of gravity is going to be floating, you know. Like, for instance, if all the passengers were up forward, the center of gravity would be up here somewhere. If all the passengers and cargo were loaded to the rear, the center of gravity would actually shift to the back. And this is pretty much the point where the airplane kind of rotates around when it pitches. Well, let's get our little miniature airplane. When it pitches, which is the up and down motion, or when it rolls left, rolls right, or when it yaws, okay, it's rotating around the center of gravity. But there are limits. There's limits, okay, so we measure everything from what we call a reference datum, and we enter the weights, and there's charts and things that help us with this when we do our weight and balance for our pre-flight planning. And we don't want it too far forward, and we don't want it too far back. All right. Again, if we are nose heavy, then it's going to be hard for us to round out and flare when we need to. And if it's too tail heavy, it's going to be hard for us to get our nose down when we need it to go down for descents and things of that nature. All right. So we load the aircraft in a certain way. This is why, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this sometimes when they're like, hey, would you like to be in first class? We have some extra seats because there's too many people in the rear and we got to get some more up front in order to shift that center of gravity. So Their center of gravity might be past its aft limit, and they'll tell the cargo handlers, all right, load cargo in the forward bay to get that right in the window, because you want it in the safety window, because you want to have control of the aircraft. You want full control of the aircraft. You don't want to be tail heavy, and you don't want to be nose heavy. Okay. All right, so that's my second term, and let's check. I had an applicant this week that was really having issues with multiplying radicals. Okay. And I really can't post them, but I'm going to write them out on the board for my YouTubers. But I'm going to put up 2 questions if you're following me on the Facebook post. And that's stemwithkino.com. I'll actually post that there. We'll refresh. And what I will also do, copy this link, guys. If you have a friend, tell a friend. If you know someone that is preparing for the aviation selection test battery, then definitely let them know. This is a place where you can bring your test prep book, and you're working through your test prep book. Hey, I don't understand this question. I don't understand the explanation. Even for my Facebook people, you can send that link to your recruiters. If your recruiter, you work with your recruiter. Hey, I know this guy. He helps you prepare for the test, and they get very, very good scores. Okay, so multiplying radicals. Okay, so our first question on the post, we have 3 root 12 times root 6. When I look at this, me personally, even though there's no 1 there, I imagine there's a 1 there. And numbers multiply with the numbers. Get that little dot out there. And the radicals multiply with radicals. After you do that multiplication, then you can simplify. So 3 times 1 is 3, and 12 times 6 is 72. All right. And there's a factorization process that we go through. And I do have a video, square roots. If you type in Kino Thomas and then square roots, I have videos for the simplification process, because I'm going to go through this pretty quick. I see root 9, root 8, root 4, and root 2, 3, 3, 2, root 2. So the actual answer to this question is 18 root 2. All right, and please go type in Kino and type in square roots, because the way that you get to the answer is about the factorization process. And if you don't understand factorization, please check out my video on YouTube. All right. Number 2 on the post is the square root of 5 times the square root of 10. Now, there are no numbers out in front, so there's really nothing to multiply, but we multiply the square root of 5 times the square root of 10, and that is the square root of 50. All right, and our final answer is going to be 5 root 2. And again, the factorization process is important, and I have videos on it. Not just square roots, but also, nth roots, which is cube roots, and 4th roots and 5th roots, and things of that nature. All right, going to the email. Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, this is a good one. There's nobody ever. Sometimes on the aviation selection test battery, I've had applicants come into contact with, they'll have a drawing, right? It'll be a figure skater, right? And, you'll have this picture here and this picture here, and you'll have the figure skater spinning around in a circle with arms open and with the arms close to the body. Okay. And they will ask which one is spinning the fastest. All right. This has come up on multiple debriefs where you have a picture and they'll ask, okay, which one's spinning the fastest? Okay. It is this figure skater. Now, I know my artwork, just imagine a figure skater with her arms out spinning as opposed to her arms in spinning. Okay. This figure skater is going to spin faster. Okay. And that's a good question. You did not indicate whether or not to say your name, so I did not put your name, sir. But yeah, that is a good question. Sometimes they'll give you questions and you might need to label or count the number of forces or things of that nature. Okay, coming back to the email, looking at the chat, and okay. Let's see here. All right, I've already done that type of question. If I say, you know what, I'm not going to do that question, it is normally because I've already addressed that question in a previous stream. All right. And I don't want to be repeating things. I like to bring out new information every week. Hence is why I'm kind of taking a couple of questions out of the enabling objectives for the aviation selection test battery. And then, all the math and mechanical and stuff is related to whether you're aviation or not. So that does not really matter. Okay. Okay, I've seen that before. And if you guys are connected with me on Skype, you can take pictures with your phone and just take a picture. Like you hold your book open and just snap a picture and stuff like that. So you can connect with me on Skype if you like as well. All right, I'll put that information up too as well. Let me ask this in the chat. Since I have so many people, well, not so many, but I have people in the room. What do you hate about math? Tell me what you hate. Like when you're like, man, I'm sitting on the test and damn it, I hate. A lot of people hate fractions. They hate fractions. They see them and they just lock up and freeze up. Fractions are really not that bad. So feel free to type in the chat. And I don't know, most people are not going to do it. But you can DM me on Facebook if you're connected with me on Facebook. And I won't say your name because some people, conversions. Okay, conversions. Conversions are not that bad. A lot of times how they will present the question is, there's one that's like, most people they look at, I drop it on them and they're like, oh my God, like they flip out and I'm like, dude, relax. You know me. Logarithms. All right. And I thank you guys for your honesty because some people might think like, no, I don't want to say what my weakness is. And, but that's what we're here for, to learn. All right. I'm dropping a question on the posts page of stemwithkino.com. And this is something that DRG came in with. And and that is on the Facebook post page. I don't know if I could. Yeah, I can actually. Yeah. All right. So here comes the conversion, guys. And we will be able to see it on YouTube as well as Facebook. And I will tell you, physically, this is just question 114. So that 114 that you see means nothing. It just means that it is question 114. And you start at, it takes a runner. Okay, so here's how conversions work. All right. And you got to work with these. And what you could do is you can go on YouTube, Google, and you can type in conversions. Now, what are we converting? All right. Sometimes you're more than likely in this test question is how it's going to look. And let me not forget my Facebook people. All right. It's on the chat as well, but okay. It takes a runner 9 seconds to run a distance of 132 feet. I'll say again, it takes a runner 9 seconds to run a distance of 132 feet. What is the runner's speed in miles per hour? And then they also give us the additional information that a mile is equal to 5,280 feet, which I covered a little bit earlier. But we want to know, because what they've given us is feet per second. All right, feet per second, but we need to convert to miles per hour. And it also gives us a standard. We've run 132 feet in 9 seconds. All right. And what we need to convert this to is miles per hour. Okay. So we want our distance over our time. That's what gives us our rate, which comes from the distance, rate, and time formula. So we have 132 feet over 9 seconds. We have to position, we're going to multiply fractions, which most people hate. But we have to position this in a way so that we have miles over hours. All right. So, watch this. We need our stuff to crisscross too as well. If we have seconds up top, on the bottom we need seconds up top. And I'll do more of these. Actually, I'll probably do a conversion every week as well to get you guys familiarized with my people that come. So there are 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. Notice we got our hours on the bottom, and now we need miles up top. So we say 1 mile, we got our miles on top now, is equal to 5,280 feet. All right. And notice how I was careful to have seconds on top, seconds on the bottom, feet on the bottom, and feet on top, and feet on the bottom. Because when we do this, we can these actually can't cancel each other out. So we're left with miles per hour, or miles over hour. And then all we need to do is calculate. We multiply the numerators directly across. It's nice that we have ones. So it's not like we have to multiply 3 different numbers. If we multiply these 2 numbers, times 1 is going to be the number, and these 2 numbers times 1 is going to be the number as well. All right. So you could multiply 3,600 by 132. I don't recommend that. I would recommend you multiply 132 times 36, and then add the 2 zeros to the answer when you get done. All right. 12, 19, 7, 0, 6, 9, 3. All right. So 0, 0, 2, 15, 17. All right. So our top number is 475200. Okay. That's the top number. Now we're going to multiply 5,280 feet times 9. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to multiply 528 times 9, and I'm going to add the 0 later. 72, 5, 47. Okay, so on the bottom we have 47520. Now the cool thing about this is these two numbers, the only difference is that there's a zero added, which means this times 10 equals the numerator. So our final answer is 10 miles per hour. Now I know a lot of people are like, huh? I might have moved a little bit fast only because I'm trying to get as many questions in when we do our aviation selection test battery sections. But you really need to be adept at doing this, okay? If you want to get a nice strong score. And like I tell you, it doesn't have to be me, but find a tutor. Find somebody that's good at this. Also, if you were just this is another question that a new client I got this week, right, was working with this tutor. There are a lot of tutors out there that are claiming to be, I tutor for the aviation selection test battery, but they're not pilots. What? They're not pilots. Okay, if you were just doing the OAR and it's reading comprehension, math, and mechanical, all right, maybe the person might have a mechanical engineering or mechanical background, and that's pretty cool. But they would need to know physics as well, or be aware of physics. Okay, so guys, be careful with that. And the guy was charging double what I charge. I was like, what? And it wasn't, and this person was not a great teacher, allegedly. All right, so this is something that I'm starting to get. Like, there's tutors that are like, I prepare for the AFOQT and the aviation selection test battery, and they don't have any flight experience. And for my pilot and nav applicants, bro, look, ask them, what kind of flight experience do you have? So why are you preparing people for the aviation selection test battery? You ask me, I'm gonna tell you I have an airline transport pilot certificate and I'm an MEI, multi-engine instructor. Those are the two highest pilot and instructor certificates you can have, okay? And I've been flying for a long time. I don't want to tell my age, but I've been flying for a really, really long time. So for my guys out there that are, especially the pilot and nav applicants, you're dealing with a tutor says, yeah, I'm prepared for aviation selection test battery, but they don't have any type of flight or instructor experience. Super important, because there's a lot of people that can fly, but then you have to be able to teach it. All right, so be careful with that. This is coming out more and more and more as we progress, because I guess they kind of want to get you on the hook. And these people, I've been hearing about people getting hit for like $90 an hour, $100 an hour from a guy that doesn't have any flight experience. Like, what the WTF? What the, you know what I mean? Like, for real? Like, wow. Okay. So yeah, be careful. Be careful, guys. Okay. All right. Let's see. Checking the email. All right. Seen this before. All right, let me new stuff. Guys, don't be shy. Present questions. And don't be afraid to check in what state you're from and what test you're preparing for, please. Okay, virtualizing reality. Hi. Sorry I'm late. Can we start over? With the runner, the 9 seconds, 132 feet. Well, virtualizing reality. I thank you. I appreciate you checking in. But this is going to be recorded if you're on YouTube, so you can start. You can start from the beginning. And when I close this up and wrap this video up, you can always go back. It's kind of like the DVR type of thing. So that's not necessary. Okay. Mm. Square roots, I would be very familiar with square root operations, adding, multiplying, and division of square roots. Whether you're aviation or a SWO candidate or Intel. The fractions are not going anywhere. All right. Another channel, they talked about fractions. And I see another comment about logarithms. Logarithms they are in the test pool, but the likelihood of you getting a log question is like nil. I think maybe twice a year I may have an applicant that takes and passes the exam, and I ask them, "Did you see any logs?" They're like, "No, I didn't see any logs." So I mean, over the last couple of years, I don't know whether they're not coming up, but logarithms is probably something I'm going to focus on next week. All right, so make sure you guys check in. If you want to know about logs, I'll teach you about logs, but the likelihood of that showing up on your exam, you know, and shout out to Austin. He passed his test. He took the full aviation selection test battery and passed the test. So shout out to him. You know, with this CV, I won't say it, with the CV thing going on, I know they have been restructuring. I don't know whether, like, the testing sites, they had to, I don't know, do some type of sterilization or standardization process, or maybe move the seats further away from each other to maintain social distancing. I'm not sure. I'm not aware of what's going on in the actual MEPS or testing site. But you know, I was happy to hear that he was. So people are still taking the test. Don't think like, oh man, it's going. Nobody's testing. No. And as a matter of fact, they're kind of going to be more aggressive about meeting their goals and stuff like that, which means there might be, you know, really, really coming at you guys. And from time to time, what they do, the boards will sometimes lower the score, you know, depending on how dire the need is to pull in candidates. But this does happen from time to time. So I'll keep you guys posted about that as I speak, because I talk to recruiters all the time. If you are a recruiter, feel free to reach out to me. You know, so I know your area, and if I'm in your area, I'm turning my head sideways because I'm trying to look at this question that someone sent me. Let's see. Okay. I've never seen this question with 5,000 miles, so let me clip this and get it on PowerPoint, and then all right. Yeah, so rotate that, Quenisha, rotate that question, your camera or whatever, 90 degrees, but I have it in with PowerPoint. I could actually repost it and flip it around to the right side up, and I have it right side up, so I don't have to turn my head anymore. You hurt my neck, girl. All right, here we go. All right, so let's get this out on Facebook for my Facebook people. on YouTube. But if you follow me on Facebook, it's posted now. And there's really not. Okay, so I've never seen this type of question with 5,000 miles. I've done kind of travel distance and uh, miles, but I never saw one with 5,000 miles. So that's why I'm going to jump into this one. All right. So a traveler must drive a total distance of 5,000 miles. Line by line diagram for every word problem. I read a line and I diagram it. So we're traveling 5,000 miles. On the first day of the journey, we have to drive 1/10 of the distance. And on the second day, we're going to drive 1/8 of the remaining distance. I love these. Okay. Because, check this out. We drive, it's 5,000 miles. Okay, no, answer options. I'm sorry. 3,527.5 miles, 4,101.5 miles, and then 3,832.5 miles, and then 3,937.5 miles. So, let's see if we even need to work this out too. It's okay. So going in, 1/10. 1/10 means divide by me to find the answer, but you don't need to do that. You just bring the decimal over 1. If I need to know 10% of any number, just bring the number in once. So we cover 500 miles the first day. So we're at 4,500 miles at this point. And then it's 1/8 of the remaining. So all I need to do is divide by 8. 4,500 divided by 8. Boom. 4, 5, 0, 0. Now how in the hell, excuse my language, but I didn't mean to curse, but how do we get 0.5 miles? Well, look, because this is even. And Quenisha, you need to be aware, sometimes in test prep materials, they may publish the wrong question, or the answers might be jacked up and wrong. It's an error that they missed. If they sold Barnes & Noble 20,000 books, do you think they're going to be like, yo, Barnes & Noble, give me them 20 million books back, or 20,000 books back? No. They'll leave it on the shelf, and they will revise it in the next edition. So I'm seeing that this question is jacked up, because we should come out with a whole number, not halves, not 0.5. It should be point anything. But let's just take a look. I could be wrong. All right, so 8 doesn't go in 4, but it goes into 45. 6, 48, 5, 4, 0. All right, just try to get a 5 and then a 0 drops. So that's, wow. Okay, and we're still deducting, so I'm going to be quiet. So 8 times 5 is 40, which is track we get 5 to 0 drops. 8 goes into 50 6 times. 8 times 6 is 48. Well, maybe we might get a, all right. See, I might put my foot in my mouth, guys, and it's okay. I'll make a math mistake twice a year. Yeah, right. All right. 8 goes into 22 times. 16. Uh-oh, there's the 0.5. 16, yup. 4, 0, 562.5. So we're going to deduct 562.5.0. And we're going to subtract that. All right, 5, 4. So the 0.5 did come out. It just didn't look like it would. All right, so 0.5 and 7. Now, boom, I got 7.5 so far. All right, it's going to be alpha delta. Let's see. 3. 9 minus 6 is 3. So it's delta. I don't even need to keep going anymore at that point, because I'm looking at the last 3 digits of the question. We have 527.5, 101.5, 832.5, 937.5. So when I saw the 7.5, there's only two answer selections with 7.5 in A and 7.5 in D. So that's how I knew it's going to be either A or D. And when I got here, 9 minus 6 is 3. Boom. I don't need to do anything, but it's D, which is 3,937.5. Okay, so guys, we're not going to get much done in 2 minutes, but I appreciate everybody that checked in for checking in. I want to give a shout out to the new people that I have not seen. You may have been in here, but I just never recognized you because maybe you didn't make a comment or whatever. But I appreciate you guys, and shout out to DRG for dropping a question and Quanisha for dropping a question. Specialist Slam, all right, Specialist Slam, thanks for checking in. I appreciate that. Who else? DRG, already I mentioned that. Virtualizing reality. When I close this out, it'll be DVRable, and you can see it from when we started. Thank you. We have Jonathan. All right, thanks for checking in. And keep in mind, this is the aviation selection test battery test prep, but you can bring math and mechanical. The training I do is the same for the aviation selection test battery, OAR, and a United States Army SIF. So let's say you're a United States Army SIF applicant, flying helicopters. The math and the mechanical, same animal. Okay, so you can still bring that. You know, it's just on the aviation selection test battery, I'll focus more on SIFT aviation. And then for your aviation selection test battery members that maybe want to be helicopter pilots, you might want to check in with me on the SIFT on Saturdays at 2 o'clock because, you know, there's a lot of helicopter information going down on that. All right. So, yeah, if you guys have recruiters, hey, talk to them, let them know about me. They may have people that need help and stuff. Because I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of aviation slots that are going to be opening up. I'm just saying, when things back up, they're like, dude, man, we're short. And they're probably going to be doing some campaigning or, you know, aggressively recruiting and stuff like that. Not just aviation, but also, you know, to my Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard people that just want to be surface warfare officers or intel or something like that. It's going to probably be crazy, you know. So it is very, very important that you take this test. For my aviation and flight applicants, do not get, if a tutor does not have flight experience, please stay away. It is not going to be beneficial. You're probably going to get overcharged. And, you know, or for the other people, just find a good, competent, qualified tutor. Hey, holla at me. Feel like I'm back home. Holla at me, man. So, if you do really, really well on this test, it will change your life. It's going to change your life. So, you know what I mean? Study hard, and I will see you guys next week. I'm Kino with STEM with Kino.com, Aviation Selection Test Battery, an Officer Aptitude Rating Test. Yeah, I said it right. Thanks for checking in, guys, and I will see you next week, 5 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for checking me out. Bye. Goodbye, YouTube. Yes.